I watched him tug on that lawnmower cord like his life depended on it, face red, veins popping, screaming at a machine he didn't realize he had already destroyed. All because he thought he was smarter than me. And because he stole from the wrong backyard. If you've ever had a neighbor who crossed boundaries, stole what wasn't theirs, and assumed you were too weak or too stupid to notice, then hit like, subscribe, and get comfortable. Because this revenge story isn't just petty, it's deeply satisfying. The setup something wasn't adding up. It started small. So small that at first, I thought I was the problem. Every weekend, I'd roll my lawnmower out, ready to knock out the yard, and every single time, the gas can was nearly empty. Not low, I must have forgotten, empty, and this wasn't some massive riding mower. This thing had a tiny 1-quart tank. Meanwhile, my gas can, 5 gallons. Do the math. At first, I shrugged it off. Maybe I misremembered. Maybe evaporation. Maybe I spilled some last time. But after the 4th time of standing there, holding an almost weightless can, that uneasiness crept in. That cold, uncomfortable feeling in your gut that whispers, someone is messing with you. The suspect? I lived in a quiet neighborhood, the kind where people waved, but didn't talk much. Except him, my neighbor, mid-40s, always loud, always irritated. The kind of guy who acted like the entire street owed him something. He never said much to me, just those sideways glances. That entitled posture, the vibe of someone who believes the rules apply to everyone else. Still accusing a neighbor of theft without proof. That's how you start wars. So I watched, I waited, and I tested. The realization, one day, before leaving the house, I filled the gas can to the brim. I even shook it, checked the weight, made a mental note. When I came back later that evening, nearly empty, that's when my stomach dropped. Not only was someone stealing from me, they were bold enough to do it repeatedly, right under my nose. And that hurt more than the gas. It was the disrespect. Catching the thief, this was before cheap plug-and-play security cameras. So I improvised. I dug out my old laptop, set up a janky webcam, installed motion detection software that barely worked. But it was enough. The next morning, I pretended to leave. 5 minutes later, motion alert. I watched the footage with my jaw clenched, so tight it hurt. There he was, walking straight into my backyard. No hesitation, no shame. He picked up my gas can like it belonged to him, and walked away. That moment, that was when something snapped inside me. The anger, not explosive anger, the quiet kind. The kind that makes your thoughts slow down. Your breathing steady. The kind of anger that says, I'm going to teach you a lesson you'll never forget. Calling the cops wouldn't teach him anything. Confronting him would just make him defensive. No, he needed consequences. The plan begins. For the next week, I became patient. Every single time I went to the bathroom, I poured a little contribution into that gas can. By the end, it was full, still smelled like gasoline, still looked normal, and best of all, it was irresistible. Then I played my final card. Setting the trap, I made sure he saw me. Checking my car fluids, packing bags, talking loudly about a trip. I even jokedy, looks like I'll be gone for a while. I could feel his eyes on me. Calculating, waiting. I left, then circled the block, and came back an hour later. The payoff begins. The first thing I heard was yelling, angry, desperate. I peeked outside. There he was, in his front yard, yanking the lawnmower cord over and over. His face was turning purple, sweat dripping, veins bulging. He looked like he was about to have a heart attack. I had to bite my lip to keep from laughing. Total destruction. Later that day, he hopped into his car, drove off. 2 blocks later, dead, car stalled, wouldn't restart, and I already knew why. I walked out back, checked the gas can, empty. In that moment, I felt something incredible. Not guilt, not regret, relief, justice. The kind of satisfaction that warms your chest and makes you feel whole again. But karma wasn't done with him. The final nail in the coffin. Turns out, this guy wasn't just a gas thief. He had active arrest warrants. So I signed him up for a sheriff's ride-along. In his name, they showed up and took him away. Some people think stealing a little doesn't matter, that no one will notice, that they're entitled to what isn't theirs. But karma keeps receipts. If this story made you smile even once, hit that like button. Tell us in the comments, what's the pettiest revenge you've ever seen or secretly wished you could pull off? And don't forget to subscribe for more Reddit revenge stories that prove one thing: you should never underestimate quiet people.